Hello and welcome back to Jimbo's PC Builds. Today it's time to add another cooler to the Cooler League. So without further ado, let's have a look at the cooler that we're going to be adding to the league today. So today we're going to be looking at the Montech NX600. It's a pretty good bargain cooler at $27.49. So it's going to be interesting to see at that price whether it competes with the lower priced Thermalright coolers, or it ends up being like the Asia Horse, which was not a great performing cooler. Either way, we're going to have a look and find out. So as always, we're going to go through the install. Then I'll give you my thoughts on the install. Then we'll have the go through the scores, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusion. All right, so without further ado, let's go on to the install montage. So installation wise, again, it's one of those, I think in a brand new case where you've got a plate behind and you've got flexibility to do stuff, I don't think it's going to be that difficult. On a test bed, it was a pain in the rear end because I had to lift the motherboard up, put the prongs through at the back, which are quite short. Then I had to balance the motherboard on my hand, putting the plastic risers on, then getting the screw through the metal crossbar that goes across and try and screw them in. And I had to do that by hand to get them to a certain point where there was take on all four corners, then tighten them all four up. That was a pain. What wasn't too bad is once you get beyond that point, because all you have to do is put the thermal paste on, stick the cooler on, tighten it up and stick the fans on. So, but that's, if you're a beginner and you don't really know what you're doing, that might be a bit of a challenge. So install wise, not the best, but not the worst. There's quite a few coolers that take the same approach, so I'll put it in the bucket with those. All right, so now we've gone through the install, let's go through the scores.
Base temp. The base temp for the Montech NX600 was 27. It puts it in the middle of the pack. Nothing really to see here. It's very... The ranges on these, only the really Asia Horse had a higher value. All the rest of them are the same. Bass sound. And this is a portent of what's going to be coming up for the Montech NX600. Its actual bass sound was 35. The Asia Horse is the only one that was louder than it, with a value of 35 decibels. it was reasonably high compared to some. Say even the Phantom Spirit was only 34, and it's only 1 decibel difference, but it's a lot when you're considering that that was, you know, we're talking about when basically the PC's on idle. Score-wise, the NX600 got 2103, which is towards the lower end of the pack. It's because we'll find out temperatures in a bit. It didn't thermal throttle, but it did get a lower score than most. So we'll get on to the max temp in a second, which will illustrate what I'm talking about. The max temp was 99 degrees. So pretty much it came really, really close to thermal throttling, but didn't quite. It didn't go all the way the same way as the Asia CP200, which why it was able to maintain a higher score than that. Max sound. Oh boy. This is where it came on its own at 59.2 decibels. It is by far the loudest cooler by a mile. It basically was louder than anything else that I've ever tested. And the fans went and got at it straight away. It hit 59.2 after a very short space of time. The scoring ranges haven't changed. I'll probably change them again when I start season 4. So here we are at the cooler league table, and you can see that the Montech NX600 is next to bottom in the table. Its value has basically kept it a decent score of 22, but its very high temperature has basically meant it lost the tiebreak with the Frozen Magic and the Dark Elite, which are both coolers. They cooled it much better than it did. But you can see it got 6 points for price, and it also, because it got managed to maintain a half decent score, it basically got kept it in there. Other than that, as I mentioned in my summary for the install, I gave it a 2 purely because it's not that great, but some of the others are a very similar vein. The design and build, it's an attractive cooler, so I still gave it 3, but it does finish next to the bottom of the table. The cooler analysis, you can see that actually score-wise, excluding price, its cost per point was $1.72, which is actually pretty reasonable. It's actually, in terms of value for the points it got in the league table, it actually came out best of all the coolers. So from that point of view, it's really good. What lets it down is when you look at cost per point below 100C, easy for me to say. You can see that even at $27.49, because it was only 1 degree below 100, basically it turns out from that perspective, from a cooling point of view, to be reasonably expensive. But I'll cover that on all of this in my thoughts and conclusion.
So now we've gone through all of the scores and the details. It's a cheap cooler at $20.49, let's put it that way. Cost per point wise, it does very well. In fact, it's right up there with the Thermalright coolers. The big problem was it just didn't perform as well as the Thermalright coolers when it came to cooling. In fact, it got very, very close to the thermal throttling. It was competing with the Asia Horse in terms of actual cooling performance. And not just that, it was loud. It's the loudest cooler I have ever experienced. Nearly 60 decibels when it was going full whack. I'm not being funny. If you've got that set in your case next to you, then that's not going to be ideal, because you're not going to be able to hear your own speakers when you're going to be gaming. The one thing I would say in its defense is I am having a go at it with probably the worst CPU that ever has been thrown at one of these coolers. So if you're going to be cooling, say, something like a 5600X or a 7600X, or even like an Intel 5 series, whatever they're called in these days. But if you throw it against that, I think it will be able to adequately cool it. And the price reflects that at $27.49. If you're looking to try and cool a more high-performing CPU, even like the likes of the 7700X, I would look elsewhere. And to be fair, if you're trying to cool a 7700X and trying to get away with a cooler of $27, you're going to be pushing it anyway. So, do I recommend this cooler? Not really. Is it a big problem? No, it's not. It has a place in the market, and that's not at the top end, and the price reflects that. So for me, you got to know what you're going to get out of this cooler, and if you do, and it suits to a CPU that you've got a machine, just be aware that if you're going to upgrade the CPU, you're going to have to upgrade the cooler at the same time. But to be fair, if you're upgrading your CPU, you've got to take the cooler off anyway. but it's just a pain to have to buy this cooler and then, you know, buy another one. Now, if you know you're going to stick with like a 5600X or a 70 whatever 100X, that's going to be a 7600X, that's going to be good enough, then fine, go with it. But otherwise, I would avoid this cooler for now. All right, I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, toss a like on it. If you also enjoy the Cooler League series, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I try and get one of these Cooler League series of videos out every other video, and I only do one a month. That means there's only going to be one every other month. So hitting the bell icon means you'll be notified when I get a video out, so you will know when the next cooler's been tested and added to the league. So it makes sense to do that. If you didn't like the video, you know, toss a dislike on it, then please leave a comment down below as to how we can improve. If you've got any other comments, like questions or anything else, also put them in the comments down below and I try and answer them as soon as I can. All right, that's all the YouTube stuff on. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care.